I pushed through the door before I could talk myself out of it. Elena's head snapped up, and for a second, just a second, hope flickered across her face. Then her expression hardened into something I'd never seen before, something that looked like strength. "What are you doing here, Marcus?" "They called me." My voice came out rough. "Said you listed me as the father." "Because you are the father." She adjusted the baby in her arms. Protective, like I might try to take her. "Or did you forget what we were doing 9 months ago when you weren't too busy screwing your secretary?" The words hit like a slap, but I deserved them. God, I deserved worse. "Elena, save it." She cut me off, and there were tears streaming down her face now, but her voice never wavered. "I didn't list you because I need anything from you, Marcus. I listed you because she deserves to know who her father is, even if he's a coward who convinced himself his own child wasn't his." The timeline didn't make sense. The timeline made perfect sense. Her voice cracked. "But Madison was in your ear every single day, wasn't she? Planting doubts, making you think I'd trapped you, and you believed her, because it was easier than admitting you'd fallen in love with someone else." I opened my mouth, but nothing came out, because she was right about all of it. The baby Sophia made a small sound, and Elena's entire demeanor softened as she looked down at her. Our daughter, the daughter I'd spent 6 months denying existed. "You want to know the worst part?" Elena's voice dropped to a whisper. "I waited for you, Marcus. Every doctor's appointment, every ultrasound, every moment. I was terrified I might lose her. I kept thinking you'd come back, that you'd wake up and realize what you were throwing away, Elena, but you didn't. And now I'm done waiting." She reached for the call button, and a different nurse appeared within seconds. "I need you to remove Marcus Bennett from my visitor list," Elena said, her eyes never leaving mine, "and update the birth certificate. Father, unknown." The nurse hesitated, looking between us. "She can't do that," I said, finding my voice. "If I'm the father, then prove it." Elena's chin lifted in defiance. "Take the paternity test. Clear your name. But until you do, you're nothing to this child. You made that choice 6 months ago." My phone rang again. Madison's ringtone. Elena noticed. Of course she noticed. "Go ahead," she said quietly. "Answer it. Show me who you really chose." I didn't answer the phone. I let it ring until it stopped, then turned it off completely. "I'll take the test," I said. "Right now, today." Elena laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Now you want to be a father, after 6 months of telling everyone I was trying to baby trap you? I was wrong. You were cruel." She shifted Sophia higher on her chest. "Do you have any idea what it's like to hear the man you love tell his lawyer that you probably got pregnant on purpose? That I was just another woman after your money?" Madison said. Elena's eyes flashed. "Do you hear yourself? Your wife of 5 years tells you she's pregnant, and you believe your mistress instead. The same mistress who's been after your money since day one. That's not fair." "Fair?" Her voice rose, and Sophia started to fuss. Elena immediately softened her tone, rocking gently. "You want to talk about fair, Marcus? Try being 7 months pregnant and serving divorce papers. Try going to the ER alone because you're bleeding and terrified you're losing your baby. Try—" She stopped, her face going white. "What bleeding?" My heart seized. "Elena, what happened? Why do you care?" But her hands were trembling now. "You made it very clear you wanted nothing to do with this pregnancy. Tell me what happened." "I had placenta previa. Started bleeding at work. Collapsed in the bathroom. My assistant called 911. She swallowed hard. They kept me in the hospital for 3 days. I almost lost her, Marcus. And you know who showed up? My mother. My sister. Even your brother came. But not you. You were in the Maldives with Madison, posting photos on Instagram. The memory hit me like a freight train. Madison had suggested the trip, said I needed to relax, to forget about the drama. I'd seen Elena's mother's call come through and ignored it. I didn't know. Because you didn't want to know." A tear rolled down her cheek. "Your brother tried to tell you. He called you 5 times. But you'd already decided I was the villain in your story." Sophia started crying in earnest now, and Elena stood up, wincing. "You need to leave," she said. "I have to feed her." "Elena, please." The door opened, and a woman walked in. Elena's sister, Rachel. She took one look at me and her expression turned to ice. "You've got to be kidding me," Rachel said. "Security didn't throw you out yet?" "Rachel, it's okay." "It's not okay." Rachel moved between us like a shield. "Do you know what he's been doing, Elena? Do you know that Madison's been calling everyone in your circle, spreading rumors that you slept with half of Manhattan, that the baby could be anyone's?" Elena's face went chalk white. I felt sick. "I didn't know about that." "Of course you didn't," Rachel spat. "Because you were too busy playing house with the woman who's systematically destroying your ex-wife's reputation." "That's enough," Elena said quietly, but she wouldn't look at me. "Marcus, go home. Back to Madison. This was a mistake. I'm not leaving until 7. Then I'll have security remove you." She finally met my eyes, and what I saw there broke something inside me. It wasn't anger anymore. It was nothing. Complete emptiness. You don't get to walk back into my life because you suddenly feel guilty. You made your choice. Rachel pulled out her phone. "I'm calling security." "Wait." I held up my hands. "Just tell me one thing, is she mine?" Elena stared at me for a long moment, then looked down at Sophia. "Ask your brother," she said finally. "He was there when they did the emergency ultrasound. He saw the birthmark." My blood ran cold. "What birthmark?" "The same one you have on your left shoulder. The same one your father had. It showed up on the ultrasound clear as day." Rachel grabbed my arm. "Get out, now." But I was already backing toward the door, my mind racing. I pulled out my phone and called James, my brother, as I stumbled into the hallway. He answered on the first ring. "It's about time," James said. "Did you finally see your daughter? Why didn't you tell me about the birthmark?" Silence. "James, answer me." "I tried, Marcus. I sent you the ultrasound photo. You blocked my number." "I blocked your number?" The hallway started spinning. "When?" 3 months ago. Right after I told you Madison was lying about the pregnancy timeline." James's voice was hard. "She was standing right next to you when you did it. I heard her coaching you through it." "That's not," but the memory surfaced. Madison's hand on my shoulder, her voice in my ear. "Your brother's just trying to manipulate you back to her. He always liked Elena more anyway." "Oh God, yeah." James let out a bitter laugh. "You chose her over everyone, Marcus. Mom stopped calling after you screamed at her for bringing up the baby. Dad won't even say your name anymore. I need to see that ultrasound." "Why?" "So you can finally believe what everyone's been telling you for 6 months. That child is yours, and you abandoned both of them." My legs gave out and I slid down the wall. A passing doctor gave me a concerned look but kept walking. "Send me the photo," I whispered. "Please." The line went quiet for a moment. Then my phone buzzed. I opened the message and there it was, the ultrasound image. Dated 4 months ago. And there, clear as anything, was the distinctive crescent-shaped mark on the baby's shoulder blade. The same mark I'd had my entire life. How did I miss this? My voice cracked. How did I mess up this badly? "You fell in love with someone else," James said quietly. "And instead of being honest about it, you let her convince you Elena was the problem. It was easier than admitting you'd betrayed your wife. I have to fix this." "I don't think you can." James paused. "Madison's been planning this for months, Marcus. The rumors, the isolation, turning you against your own family. She wanted Elena completely out of the picture." "What are you talking about?" "Check your email. The one Madison doesn't have access to. Your personal one from college." I pulled up my old Gmail account, the one I hadn't checked in years. There were hundreds of unread messages, from Elena's doctors, from the hospital, from my own mother, all marked as read. "I never saw these," I breathed. "Because Madison had access to your phone," James said. "She's been deleting them. Dad hired a digital forensic specialist last month. We have proof." The phone slipped from my hand. I grabbed it back up. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" "We tried. You threatened to cut us all off. Said we were conspiring against you and Madison. Don't you remember?" I didn't. Or maybe I'd been so deep in Madison's web that I'd convinced myself everyone else was wrong. The elevator dinged and Madison stepped out, designer purse swinging, heels clicking. She froze when she saw me on the floor. "Marcus? Baby, what's wrong?" She rushed over, all concern and fake sympathy. Did something happen with that woman? That woman has a name. I stood up, and Madison stepped back at whatever she saw in my face. And she just had my daughter. Madison's mask slipped for just a second. Marcus, you don't know that. She could be lying. I saw the birthmark. Her face went pale. What birthmark? The same one you saw on my shoulder every time we were together. The same one that shows up in every Bennett mail. My daughter has it. That doesn't mean anything. Stop. I held up my hand. Just stop. I know about the emails. The deleted messages. Everything. Madison's expression shifted from concerned girlfriend to something cold and calculating. You're going to believe them over me? She crossed her arms. After everything we've been through? I saved you from that marriage, Marcus. She was draining you dry. She was pregnant with my child and you knew it. My voice came out deadly quiet. You knew, and you made me abandon her anyway. I did what was best for us. There is no us. I pulled the engagement ring from my pocket, the one I'd bought her last week. There never really was. Madison's eyes widened as I dropped it into a nearby trash can. You're making a huge mistake, she hissed. That baby could still be anyone's. Get out of this hospital, now. You'll regret this. I'll sue you for everything. Try it. I stepped closer. And I'll make sure every media outlet knows exactly what you did. How you manipulated a man into abandoning his pregnant wife. How you destroyed a family. She stared at me, breathing hard, then spun on her heel and stalked away. I turned back toward Elena's room, but Rachel was blocking the door. She doesn't want to see you, Rachel said. I know. But I'm not leaving this hospital until she lets me explain. Rachel's expression didn't soften. You can camp out here all week. Won't change what you did. I know. I leaned against the wall. But I'm not going anywhere. She almost died because of you. Rachel's voice shook. When she was bleeding, alone in that bathroom, you know what she did? She called your name. Even after everything, she wanted you there. The words gutted me. Rachel. And when the doctor said she might not make it through delivery, that she had to choose between herself and the baby, you know what she chose? Rachel's eyes filled with tears. She chose Sophia. Signed the paper saying if it came down to it, save the baby. Not her. The baby. I couldn't breathe. Elena would never. She did. Because she's a mother. Something you wouldn't understand since you've spent 6 months pretending your child doesn't exist. The door opened and a nurse came out carrying paperwork. Rachel glanced back inside, and I caught a glimpse of Elena holding Sophia, tears streaming down her face. 5 minutes, Rachel said suddenly. You get 5 minutes, and if you make her cry harder, I'm calling security myself. She stepped aside and I walked in on shaking legs. Elena didn't look up. She was singing softly to Sophia, some lullaby I vaguely recognized from when her mother used to visit us. I talked to James, I said quietly, and I ended things with Madison. Good for you. Her voice was flat. Want a medal? I saw the deleted emails. All of them. The appointment reminders, the hospital bills, the emergency room reports. I moved closer. Elena, I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't bring back 6 months. She finally looked at me, and her eyes were red and swollen. Sorry doesn't change the fact that I went through the worst experience of my life completely alone. I know, but do you? She stood up, still holding Sophia. Do you know what it's like to be so scared you can't sleep? To lie awake wondering if your baby's going to make it another day? To have people whisper about you at the grocery store because your own husband is telling everyone you're a liar? I was wrong. You were cruel. Her voice broke. You told your lawyer I was probably sleeping around. You said our marriage was a mistake. You called me a gold digger on the phone with your accountant while I was sitting in the parking lot outside your office, trying to work up the courage to tell you about the bleeding. You were there? I was always there, Marcus, waiting for you to remember who I was, who we were. She wiped her eyes with her free hand. But you never came back. Sophia started fussing and Elena sat down, beginning to nurse her. I turned away to give her privacy. You can look, Elena said tiredly. You're her father. Might as well get used to it. I turned back and watched my daughter nurse. Her tiny hand curled against Elena's chest. The crescent birthmark was visible on her shoulder. She looks like you, Elena whispered. She has your eyes, your chin, Even your stubborn personality already. A sad smile crossed her face. She wouldn't come out for 12 hours. The doctor said she was comfortable and didn't want to leave. Just like her father, refusing to budge. Elena, I've filed for full custody, she said it matter-of-factly, like she was discussing the weather. My lawyer's drawing up the papers. You'll have supervised visitation once a month if you want it. Once a month? Elena, that's not fair? She laughed harshly. You think you deserve more? After abandoning us? I want to be her father, a real father. Then you should have been here. Elena's composure cracked. You should have been here when I was terrified. When I was alone. When I was sure I was going to die and leave our baby without either parent. The door burst open and my mother rushed in, followed by my father. They both froze when they saw me. Marcus? My mother's voice was ice. What are you doing here? Mom, Security, my father called out. We need security in here now. Dad, wait. You lost the right to call me that when you chose that woman over your own child. My father moved to Elena's side, putting a protective hand on her shoulder. We're Sophia's family now, not you. My mother was already holding her arms out for the baby, and Elena handed Sophia over without hesitation. My own mother, cradling my daughter, refusing to look at me. Please, I said, just let me explain. Explain what? My mother's voice shook. That you finally figured out what the rest of us knew 6 months ago? That Madison was using you? That you abandoned your pregnant wife for a woman half your age who only wanted your money? It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Marcus? She finally looked at me, and I saw nothing but disappointment. Because from where we're standing, you threw away everything that mattered for someone who didn't. Security appeared in the doorway, but Elena held up her hand. Wait. She looked at me, really looked at me, and something shifted in her expression. Everyone out. I need to talk to Marcus alone. Elena, you don't have to. Rachel started. Out, please. My parents exchanged glances, but my mother carefully handed Sophia back to Elena. One by one, they filed out, my father giving me one last warning look before closing the door. The silence stretched between us like a canyon. I loved you, Elena said finally. For 7 years, I loved you more than I thought it was possible to love another person. And in 6 months, you made me feel like none of it mattered. It all mattered. Every second of it. Then why? Her voice cracked. Why was it so easy for you to believe I'd betray you? Why was Madison's word worth more than 7 years of faithfulness? Because I was scared. The truth ripped out of me. We were trying for so long, Elena. 3 years of negative tests, of watching you cry every month, of feeling like I was failing you. And then suddenly you were pregnant right when we were falling apart. And Madison said what you wanted to hear. Elena's eyes flashed. That it wasn't your fault. That I was the problem. That you deserved better. I know that now. Do you? She shifted Sophia to her other arm. Because I need you to understand something, Marcus. I didn't get pregnant to save our marriage. I got pregnant because after 3 years, my body finally cooperated. And instead of celebrating with me, you accused me of lying. I was an idiot. You were in love with someone else. She said it quietly, like a fact. And instead of being honest, you made me the villain so you wouldn't have to feel guilty. The truth of it knocked the air from my lungs. I didn't plan to fall for Madison, I whispered. It just happened. Things don't just happen, Marcus. You made choices. Every deleted text. Every late night at the office. Every time you chose to believe her over me, those were choices. Sophia made a small sound and Elena looked down at her. Infinite tenderness in her expression. But here's what you need to know, Elena continued. I'm not the same woman you left 6 months ago. That woman would have taken you back the second you apologized. She would have forgiven everything because she loved you that much. And now I'm a mother. And my daughter deserves better than a father who might walk away the next time things get hard. I won't. You already did. She finally met my eyes. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to take that paternity test. You're going to prove to yourself what everyone already knows. And then you're going to decide if you're ready to actually be a father, not just feel guilty about not being one. I want to be in her life. Both of your lives. My life? Elena shook her head. Marcus, there is no US anymore. You killed that when you chose Madison. But Sophia deserves a father, so we'll figure out co-parenting. Supervised visits at first, then we'll see. That's it? After everything we were to each other? After everything we were, you still chose someone else. A single tear rolled down her cheek. I begged you, Marcus. The day you served me divorce papers, I begged you to go to counseling, to fight for us. And you said I wasn't worth fighting for. The memory hit me. Her on her knees, 7 months pregnant, pleading with me to reconsider. And me, with Madison's words echoing in my head, walking away. I was wrong. I choked out. About all of it. I know. But being wrong doesn't fix what's broken. She stood up, wincing slightly. You should go. I need to rest. Elena, please. The paternity test will be scheduled for next week. Your lawyer will get the details. She walked to the door and opened it. Goodbye, Marcus. I didn't move. Couldn't move. I said goodbye. Her voice was steel wrapped in exhaustion. I walked past her, stopped at the threshold. I'm going to prove to you that I can be the man you needed me to be. Don't do it for me. She looked down at Sophia. Do it for her. She's the only Bennett who matters now. The door closed in my face, and I stood there, staring at the wood grain, listening to my daughter's soft cries on the other side. 6 months ago, I'd walked away from everything that mattered, and now I'd spend the rest of my life trying to walk back.